What is up, everybody? Hobby with Cage, episode 198, brought to you by Arena Club and Bleaker Trading. And I have a hat on, Fund Your Cards. I've used them a lot recently. It's going to be a fun one. I haven't talked to you guys in a couple weeks. Would you like to know why? Would you like to know why? So, despite the fact that there are some people who think that this is my job, that I just, I'm a hobby lawyer, I guess. I don't know. I do a podcast and, I'm out here talking about the hobby and all this other fun stuff, despite the fact that, people see me at shows and, I'll be at Fanatics Fest and you'll see me at the National, despite all that fun stuff. Despite all that, there are some people, who think I do this for a living. No, that's not my job. I actually have a job, a 9 to 5. Some days an 8 to 8. Some days doesn't matter. There's no hours. It's it's interesting stuff, right? I actually have a job, and a couple weeks ago, I stopped working at that job, and I had a computer from that job, and I no longer had that computer from that job. And it's funny because a lot of stuff on that computer, a lot of StreamYard-y stuff, a lot of podcast stuff, a lot of stuff that I needed to do the episode and didn't even think of that when I didn't have the computer anymore. So anyway, I bought myself another computer. I hope the audio is good. I hope the video is good. I look very handsome. So the camera looks better already. Hope the audio is good. I didn't even plug in a microphone because I want to see how it sounds with just the computer's microphone. And everybody knows this is a big deal, right? Everybody understands this is a big deal. If Andrew Goldberg is listening, he is laughing right now because I did the first, I don't know how many episodes on like an iPhone 6. I still use an iPhone 8, but this week, iPhone 16 Pro, baby. I'm upgrading. It's fully upgrade season here. Got a new computer just for the podcast. Got a new phone. The phone upgraded from an 8 to a 16, which means I got to treat this one well because I'm not going to get another iPhone until the iPhone 32. That's how it works. I went from a 4 to an 8, 8 to a 16. So I'm going to have to make sure I take care of this phone because the 32 is not going to come out for a while. All right, guys. So that's my explanation for you as to why I have not been here to chat with you for a couple minutes, a couple of days. We've missed a bunch of stuff, man. We've missed Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to any mom out there, to anybody who has a mom, anybody who lives with a mom, anybody who celebrates Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. We had a nice one here at the Cage household. A little breakfast in bed my daughter made for my wife. A couple gifts. She also got an iPhone, so that's cool too. And some other stuff. Hope everybody had a good Mother's Day. We got basketball playoffs going on, and that is crazy in and of itself. I mean, the Knicks are going to find a way to go up 2-0 and then lose 4 straight, and Celtics in 6. Indiana is really putting a beating on the Cavs. We'll see if they can close that out. And that weird West, man, I like to think OKC probably handles Denver, but then it's just a crapshoot with, Edwards, the face of the NBA, until he's not and gets beat again. Steph injured, which is just, that sucks to lose, Steph from another playoffs where they look like they might have been able to make a run and him injured. That's a fun basketball playoffs to watch. Baseball, look at what Aaron Judge is doing, guys. I mean, one of the big regrets is that I do not have a big Aaron Judge card. If you guys are selling big Aaron Judge cards, message me. I need a big Aaron Judge. I've made some inquiries recently about Aaron Judge cards. I've been basically shot down at every turn, which is upsetting to me because I want a nice Aaron Judge card. Man, batting 400, 4 hits yesterday, 409 I think he's at. In the middle of May, batting 409. And at the same time, leading the league in home runs and RBIs and hits. It's too bad that he's already 33, going to be 34. Because, he's got a shot to really put up some gaudy numbers. Maybe still stays healthy and, and stays in the league for a long time. But even if he does, he started late. He went to college, didn't come up right away. Compare and contrast him to somebody like Bobby Witt, who's 24 and basically 10 years younger than Judge. And you think about what he can produce in his prime here. While I love what Judge is doing and I want to have a card, it does kind of cap what you think somebody like Judge can be from an all-time perspective. He can be caught statistically by someone who came up younger, like a Bobby Witt. So anyway, fun stuff. That's just, that's how I think about cards too, right? As I think about cards. So let's start off with this. Hobby isn't for everyone, because you have to remember that it is a hobby. And some people view it as an investment. I started going down a little more of an investment path recently, changing a lot of my, my PC cards into, cards that I think are better investments. But I still just buy cards just to have fun with my son. And you guys who've, been fans of the show, that one of the things I did, definitely last year, I don't remember exactly when we did it, was, I said to my son, we've been opening cards every Friday since before COVID. So, here we are 6 years running, opening a box of cards every Friday. But last year I said to him, listen, if it's not a good release and you don't want it, or you just want to pass on it, I will, instead of buying a box of cards for us to open, I'll put $200 in a stock trading account and you can buy some stock for yourself. And over the last 6 months, 9 months, however long it's been, he is now owner of Nintendo stock, Tesla stock, Nike stock. He's got some Google stock. These are things he's bought. And he is in the green. Not by a tremendous amount, but he's in the green, even with Nike getting beat down pretty badly. And I do this because it's an important thing, right? It's, we're going to spend the money on one or the other. And what are you doing this for? Like, why are you here? Because if it's to make money, opening boxes of cards is probably not the best way to do that. You have to really understand the difference there. That is not really investing. That is, as someone would tell me, a dice game. That's a straight gamble. That's a casino. Opening a pack of cards is not an investment thesis. It's like saying to your stockbroker, do me a favor, throw a dart, buy a stock for me today. No research, no nothing. There's nothing to it, right? You're gambling. You're gambling and hoping that scratch off, that pack, that couple of bucks that you're opening is going to be there's something inside it worth more just blindly than what you are putting in. Same thing with repacks. Is it possible to make money? Certainly. Is it possible to get something out of a pack or a box worth more than what you paid for it? Sure. And it happens, and that's what keeps people coming back. So we went to a card show 2 weeks ago, and my son sold some cards, and he bought a box of, I think it's the most recent release of Pokemon, but a Korean version. And he opened it up, and he got like the chase card, the card that people want in the box. And I think he got offered either 150 or 250, I forget, but significantly more than the $55 he paid for the box for it. And he kept the card. We're going to grade it. And you have now a situation where you were able to gamble your way to a profit. I'm sure there's somebody out there saying that's investment. It's just like investing in a penny stock or something a little riskier investment. Okay, if that's the way you want to do it, that's the way you want to call it. That's kind of semantics. And the lesson that I'm trying to teach my son here is, more often than not, that gamble is not going to pay off for you. Now, if you're having fun opening cards and you're not treating it like a buy-in to try to get some more, to try to get more out of it than you're putting in, who cares? It's fun. I like opening packs with my son and we have some fun with it. But I've noticed that, like me, he gets frustrated when we spend money on a card or on a pack of cards or a box of cards that really gets nothing out of it. Like the return is zero. And even if you're not buying it for a return, you'd like to get some value out of it, right? That leads me to this past Friday. So my LCS has held a box of Heritage for me for a couple weeks now since release date. And I just haven't had a chance with switching jobs and a whole bunch of other stuff to get in there and buy it. And you got some Bowman release. But basically, I spent $200. I got a box of Heritage and some Bowman blasters. Fair prices. He didn't mark them up. I think the prices are a little higher now, but mine was the initial buy. And we sat in the store and opened them up. And obviously, we want to get top rookies, we want to get autos, Bowman Blasters, nothing guaranteed, and nothing is what we got. I think we threw out every card that was in there. I don't think we got anything good at all. Definitely no auto. And Heritage, you're guaranteed either an auto or a relic. And of course, we got a relic, and it was so unmemorable that I can't remember who it was for the life of me. Which napkin was attached to someone's face. I don't remember who exactly it was. And I didn't care. It was a couple $100 Friday opening. You're opening it up, having some fun with my son. We were, throwing the cards around. We were looking through them, Oh, we got a Heritage. We took some cards out. There's a Heritage Chrome batting leaders that had Ohtani on it, which was like, a parallel. And, there was a couple of cool, Chrome parallels in there. It wasn't a hot box. One time we got a hot box with all purple Chrome, but we didn't get that this time. And we left with a small stack of cards. I think it's over here somewhere. I could probably grab it, but definitely not $200 worth of cards. I mean, not even close to $200 worth of cards. And we leave the store. We grab the cards. I actually took the commons and stuff with us and dropped them off at one of my friend's house. His daughter plays softball, and he likes to either sort them and go through them, or I think he has designs of making little grab bag packs and giving them to the kids on the softball team, or having them in like the snack stand when kids come in and buy a drink or or candy. Hey, you got some cards. Yankee fans, Met fans. We kept the Pete Alonso card and gave it to my neighbor. So there's obviously ancillary fun that comes with the couple $100 spend. We give this stuff out. We know people like the Mets, like the Yankees. There's other kids on the block. You give some cards out. It's fun. I would not stop doing it. But we got in the car, and my son said, I wish I bought a share of Google and a share of Nike for my $200, I was impressed because at the time Google was trading in the 150s and Nike was trading in the 50s. So he really was doing the math and learning and saying, for that $205, I could get a share of Google and a share of Nike. Today he's going to come home and look at the market and be like, Google and Nike are both up. I should have bought those. Instead. He has chosen the stock purchase. I'm just going to round up and say we've been doing this for 9 months. He has chosen the stock purchase 9 times. So maybe 1 week out of every month, he's decided I'm not going to buy cards. Maybe there wasn't a good release. Maybe there was no release. So I kind of forced his hand. Maybe it was Pokemon, but not a good Pokemon release, but 9 times. He has a decent portfolio. I told you the stocks. He looks it up. He thinks, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to trade this. I tell him just keep adding to it. The lesson, I'm not going to stop buying cards. I know you guys out there listening are not going to stop buying cards. My son is not going to stop buying cards. But one of the things I'm going to layer into this now is I want to teach you about some of the cards that I'm buying and why. And how many days, sometimes weeks, forget about hours, of research go into my recent buys from the last couple of years, the cards that I'm buying. Because I have completely overhauled my collection. I posted one card recently, and I have more like it, but some of these cards, when you buy them, people don't want you to talk about them. They don't want people knowing who they sold them to. They don't want people knowing that they sold them. Keep it secret. A lot of private deals. Almost everything that I've bought recently is a private transaction, which sometimes you have to overpay for. But if you have conviction in what you're buying, it sometimes pays off. But you can see the one card. Take a look. It's a messy, flawless, momentous, game-used auto out of 5. It's pretty nice. Pretty safe to say it is Messi's best on-card, game-used autograph. You can make an argument that there are better Messi cards. I'm sure people like the PSA 10 version of his rookie card from Mega Cracks. There are people out there who like the PSA 10 of his 2014 Prism Gold because everybody loves Prism Gold. He's got some one-of-one cards that probably, stack up against it as well. But as far as game used on card. I think this is the pinnacle. 5 of them done. And mine happens to be the nicest one, I think, of the 5. I'm biased, of course. But to find that card, to research that card, to locate it, to negotiate, to obtain it, to trade for it, to buy it, to understand the numbers behind it. We're talking about months of conversations with various people, pouring through checklists, doing comparisons. And I'm happy I did, because the card is worth significantly more. I've had offers significantly more than what I paid for it. And the fun then for me as someone in this hobby is then trying to replicate that, trying to find the next thing that's underappreciated, the next thing that I think has some things going for it that maybe the rest of the industry, the hobby, the space has not fully understood yet. I'm going to start working that in with my son. And maybe we'll take a little bit of a detour. Maybe, I'll go away from the goats and maybe we'll find a current player. Because then you're really talking about investing, right? You're talking about buying something that maybe performance does matter. I know a lot of people say performance on the field doesn't make a difference. I think it does for certain cards, certain people. There's risk to it. Risk reward. And it's another thing I get to kind of teach my son as we're going through it. So I'll let you know how that goes. I have my eye on a couple of players, a couple of types of cards, a couple sets. And maybe you guys can follow along as we do this, because I want him to enjoy the hobby. I think he's now old enough, and maybe you guys are too. Maybe you've matured enough in this to realize that maybe your time here, your brain power here, and your money is better spent researching, doing your own analysis, doing some homework, coming up with a thesis about a player or a card, buying that card, and then sitting back and watching that player and the market prove you right. Maybe that's a better use of your time, your mental acuity, and your wallet than just buying yet another repack or buying another box of cards. And that's where my hobby journey has taken me right now. Still open wax. That's fun. You go to a casino, you can't just go beeline right to the baccarat table. You got to play some slots on the way. That's the fun. It's noisy. It makes Wheel of Fortune. Boom. It's fun. Got to still do that. Have a little bit of brainless fun. But for me, the most fun in the last 2 years in this space has been doing that research, finding something that people haven't found yet, acting on it, spending your money on it, putting your money where your research is, and then sitting back and waiting for the rest of the space to come to you. And there's plenty of those out there. And I want to try to do this with my son. I want to have him research. We're going to have some conversations. And that's, by the way, an underrated part of this space. Having somebody to bounce things off of. I got a hobby pal. I got a few hobby pals. There's one I've been talking to a lot recently. And that's got some real value to it. Because they can tell you their ideas and you can tell them yours. And you can send them a picture of a card and you can hear their immediate reaction of, whoa, you're going to buy that? You bought that? Or it's like, I don't know about that. Like, I've seen this, and this, and maybe this one's a better way to go. It's always good to do that. And the hobby is real great about that because you can find those people on Discord, on the Jordan chat groups, on, Instagram, pick up the phone and talk to people. That happens too. But that has really changed where my collection and investing and hobby has gone recently too. And if you guys don't have that person, DM me, man. I'll be that person for you. Let's talk. Tell me where your thesis is. Tell me what you're thinking about buying, and I'll tell you why I agree, disagree, and you can ignore me if you like, because what the hell do I know? And that's another fun one of where my brain is. Sorry it's been so long, but hell, we're approaching 200 solo episodes here, folks. If you've been along for the ride, that's a lot of damn episodes after 1,000 with the Luca Nation. Throw another another 200 up on that, hanging another 200 on there. It's good. We're gonna keep doing these. We're gonna do them in a more regular clip. I got the hardware now. I hope this recorded. I hope you get to see me nice, clearly, all this other fun stuff. I hope this works for you guys, and I'll be back at you soon. Hey, if you need to fund the card, he's not paying me, but I'm paying him. Fund your cards. I got a nice hat. There's other guys out there too. Acquire, I like those guys as well. I think the Wharf does some fun stuff, but I personally have only used Fund Your Cards. They gave me a hat. I'm like that sometimes. I can be bought. I walk around shows with a golden bag still. I go on vacation with a golden backpack. It's easy to buy me. Send me a hat. This episode has been brought to you by Bleecker Trading and Arena Club, who sent me a nice sweatshirt, which it's a little too hot to be wearing, but you've seen it. This suit, you've seen it. I'm wearing this ridiculous thing for you because the only store in town's got the flu. What movie? See you guys soon. I hope this worked because I'd be really pissed off if I wasted a half hour and you can't hear me. Talk to you soon, guys.